sitting at 3-1, tied with Washington. And of course, a lot of soccer left to be played in this spring season, as the Huskies still have 5 more conference games after this, including trips to Stanford and Oregon State. So matches ahead that will probably decide who is the conference champion. Both these teams also among the tops in the country just in the straight-up national coaches poll. UW currently 6th in the United Soccer Coaches Top 25. Stanford number 2, Oregon State number 4. No other Pac-12 squads in the top 25. So it is really those 3 duking it out for the Pac-12 title this year. Just about ready to go at Husky Soccer Stadium. The official blows the whistle. We're underway. In a matchup of 2 of the top 6 teams in the country. And Sam Fowler gets a chance to corral it early. The Husky goalkeeper in his sophomore year from Issaquah, who leads the Pac-12 and ranks 8th in the country in goals allowed average at .38. And a whistle against UW here, giving a free kick to the Cardinal. There is a Cardinal down, less than a minute in here. With a win today, Stanford would move to 5-0 in conference play for the first time since 2016. Under head coach Jeremy Gunn, one of the best programs in the country. And hopefully this injury suffered within the first minute isn't too serious. And that's their leading scorer, Zach Ryan. Came in with 6 goals, 3 assists for 15 points, a top mark on the team. Redshirt junior from Chatham, New Jersey, who walks off gingerly. It'd be a big loss, obviously, for Stanford if he is not able to return. Keegan Tingey is lined up to take this free kick. Sophomore from Danville, California. He's got a couple of goals and 3 assists on the season. More instructions coming from the Stanford bench here before we resume play. And the official's going to come over to the sideline to get in some extra words too with the Stanford bench. Checking exactly how they have to play this with Zach Ryan banged up just a minute into this contest. Ryan, the heart and soul of the Stanford team, but sidelined for now. Here's Tingey. Gonna float it out to the far corner, and too much muscle on that one. It'll go out for a goal kick. While Stanford is 6-0, they have had some tight contests this year. 2 of their 4 Pac-12 games have come down to 1 goal. The Cardinal won 1-0 in overtime at San Diego State in late February and topped Oregon State 3-2 last Saturday at home. That was a really tight one, actually, in which the Cardinal trailed 2-0 early, but responded to tie it up before halftime, and then got a winner in the 80th minute from Gabe Siegel. Throw in for the Cardinal at midfield from Andrew Abrahamian, redshirt junior defender. And he rifles it down the near sideline into the corner. It's the one spot on the pitch that we don't have a great angle at from our vantage point, so do our best to catch as much as we can when the ball's down in that near right corner. Turned out to be a pretty good day here in the Pacific Northwest, sitting around 50 degrees, just a mild wind coming off of Lake Washington. It's headed around here. Finally, Washington on it for a moment with Lucas Meek, the redshirt junior midfielder from Mercer Island. And the Huskies have got a throw in. Charlie Ostrom ready to take it. And he swings it crossfield for Kendall Burks. Burks rolls it out far side. Working back to the midfield, Kai Briscoe almost had his pass intercepted. A big collision near midfield. Ostrom ran into a Cardinal midfielder who is down in a heap. We already saw Zach Ryan get injured and exit this contest, and hopefully we don't see another Cardinal player have to leave the pitch so early. Looks like Ryan's actually got a fresh jersey on and he's ready to re-enter. And there he goes. So it's good to see him back on the field after just 4 or 5 minutes. Play restarted by Keegan Hughes. Stanford just outside the box, trying to chip it in. Easy play for Fowler. Fowler has shut out 5 of the 6 opponents that he's faced this season. Of course, getting help from a tremendous UW defense that has only surrendered 4 goals in 4 conference matches. Header won by the Huskies, but the Cardinal turn it right back upfield. Giving chase is Gabe Siegel, and a foul against Siegel. Again, he's the guy who had the game winner for Stanford in that matchup with Oregon State. They got out to a rough start, trailing 2-0 last Saturday against the Beavers, but then tallied 3 consecutive goals to win it. And another grab for Fowler. Fowler on the All Pac-12 honorable mention squad last season. Boots this one out toward midfield. And a free kick coming for UW. Burks will be the one to take it. Or Fowler's going to come up rather. The Huskies now in their 10th year under head coach Jamie Clark, who's guided the Huskies to 7 NCAA tournaments in his first 9 seasons. Advancing as far as the Elite 8. They reached the quarterfinals in both 2013 and 2019. The 2 seasons when the Huskies have won Pac-12 championships under Clark. That was the first time Washington finally got the ball down deep in Stanford territory, but the Cardinal able to counter quickly, and there's a takedown in that far corner. Kai Briscoe with a physical tackle, and it looks like the official will bring out a yellow card for Briscoe. It was Will Richmond on the run for Stanford. Junior midfielder from Piedmont, California. He came in with 4 goals. And the referee ruled that tackle severe enough to card Briscoe. Headed toward net. And will this be a corner? Indeed it will be. Stanford trying to work the far post off that last free kick. And now they'll take it deep into the near corner. Gabe Siegel has it teed up. Towards net, headed away, and cleared nicely by the Dogs. Dylan Tevez floated it away. Here's Meek, headed out of play by Richmond. Meek entered this contest with 4 goals and an assist. He had a big one last season rather, since neither of these teams got to play in 2020. Meek scored the overtime game winner against Stanford in Palo Alto in 2019. Clean tackle made by Keegan Tingey. Does well to take it away from Briscoe. But a throw-in coming for Washington. Just about 10 minutes in. These two teams split the series in 2019. Stanford won 1-0 here in Seattle in mid-November. Washington won in October off that overtime game winner from Meek. Header from Burks, but getting up is Andrew Thomas, and he secures it for Stanford. Both these goalkeepers come in with amazing accolades. Thomas, a redshirt junior from London, England, named a third-team All-American last season. Started all but one match in 2019, which he missed to train with the U.S. U23 national team in San Diego. Through ball for Ryan, playing with Briscoe. And they're going to whistle Ryan this time for tripping up Briscoe. Kai is a sophomore midfielder from Renton, Washington, transferred from Highline Community College. And he's been very involved through the first 10 minutes here. Richmond working the far sideline. Washington trying to reverse field with Christian Soto. Burks with the chip up ahead. Can Tevez get to it? No. Dylan Tevez already with 3 game-winning goals this season. Leads the Huskies with 11 points. The junior midfielder from Hawaii. The 5th player in the Pac-12 to reach double-digit points this year. Loose ball in the midfield. Soto on it for a moment as it pried away by Abrahamian. Dogs get it right back. Meek trying to find Gio Miglietti. Meek hits the deck. And it soars out to the far side where Tingey will find it. Tingey came in with a couple of goals and 3 assists. And Cardinal reset. It doesn't get much better than this. 2 of the top 6 teams in the country in the latest poll, and a couple of fantastic programs. Stanford, of course, winning 3 straight national championships from 2015 to 2017. One of only 2 programs that can claim they've won 3 consecutive titles. And they also won 5 straight Pac-12 championships from 2014 to 2018. These 2 7 Pac-12 championships, with Washington's 2 bookending the 5 consecutive for Stanford. Siegel with a full head of steam, tripped up. Taken away cleanly by Washington. That was a nice play by Nate Jones, the freshman defender from Gig Harbor. Throwing it midfield, coming for Stanford, and Abrahamian. He's a redshirt junior defenseman from Malvern, Pennsylvania. Stanford roster, of course, with players from not only all over the country, but all over the world. Mentioned that Thomas hails from London, England. Players from Haiti, Hong Kong. Come from everywhere to play for the Cardinal. And that one's headed behind the goal by the Cardinal. A goal kick coming for Fowler. Washington not mounting too much offensive pressure as of yet. Their last game, a match with UCLA last Sunday, was the first time the Huskies have been outshot this season. The Bruins outshot them 9-8. Although UW is outshooting their opposition this year, 127-36. Throw in coming for Stanford down in that near corner. The top offense in the country with 3.3 goals per game. 7 different Cardinal players have scored this season, and 11 different players have notched at least a point. Played by Meek, he goes down hard. And Jamie Clark in the Washington bench is furious at that tackle from Abrahamian. So that's the second yellow card we've got in the first 17 minutes. Kai Briscoe got one not too long ago, and now Andrew Abrahamian gets one of his own. And I'm pretty certain it's Meek who is down. Indeed it is. And the redshirt junior from Mercer Island wanting to play on here, but hobbling a little bit toward midfield. Ready to resume play now. A long ball all the way into the box, playable for Thomas, who corrals it on one hop. No shots on goal for either side yet. Just one corner, which the Cardinal had earlier. And here's Thomas again. Thomas ranks 4th in career shutouts at Stanford with 19 before today. 5 away from moving into a tie for 2nd on the career shutouts list at Stanford. And Abrahamian waiting for a ball to throw in here. Couple of fakes. And now he'll go down the sideline. Played by Meek. Another chance for the Cardinal. Cam Silly rolls it out far side. Working back toward the middle, and a rocket that's collected by Fowler. Well positioned on a missile from the edge of the 18. Near the far side of the box. Got through traffic, and Fowler was in a perfect spot to catch it right in the gut. So that's the first shot for either side. And before Stanford gets to throw this ball in, we're going to check on Kai Briscoe, who is injured in the middle of the pitch. So over 15 minutes in here, and it's been a chippy one. 2 yellow cards already, 1 for Briscoe, 1 for Abrahamian. And a couple of players have already spent extended amount of time on the pitch due to injury. The players who were previously banged up both returned to the contest. Zach Ryan for Stanford, their leading goal scorer this season, got back on the pitch after about 4 or 5 minutes in the 10th. And Lucas Meek, who is dinged up on the yellow card from Abrahamian, got back to his feet and was able to walk it off.
Number 6, Kalani Kosurienzi, in for 24, Kai Briscoe.
That last shot for Stanford, by the way, came from Richmond. It was hard to tell exactly who got to it on the edge of the box, but it was Richmond with that rocket that Fowler saved. Here's Meek turning around, gets it to Miglietti. Washington trying to pick up the pace. Turning around is Tevez, rolls it out far side. Cross coming in, tapped around. Meek gets back to it, turns to his left. Will we get a whistle? No. The Huskies were pleading their case for a penalty kick, but no whistle comes as Lucas Meek turned to his left and got deep in the box with a goal-scoring opportunity. After that last ball was cleared away by the Washington defense, it's now on the baseball field in Husky Ballpark, sitting right around where the shortstop would line up defensively. It might take a little while to recover that one. We got a fresh one for Abrahamian to throw in. Soto rolls it for Tevez, lines it up with his right, rolls it past Thomas, but it's wide. There was a tip, it looks like, and thus we'll get a corner for Washington. That shot was deflected by the Stanford defense. That's why Tevez didn't get much mustard on it.
Washington corner kick taken by number 20, Charlie Ostrom.
Ostrom ready to line it up from the corner. He's usually the one to take these. Also a common long throw option for the Huskies. Meek at the near post. Right there with Tyler Smith. Here comes Ostrom. Swings it in. And it's into the side of the net. Ostrom curled it a little too early. Still UW now with their first corner of the game. Still looking for their first shot on goal. Chance for Soto to run after this one. Pried away by a Cardinal defender. That's Cam Silly. Sophomore from Alamo, California. And now it's scooped up by Thomas. Both these teams can get plenty of attention for their offenses, but their defenses are just as good. Cardinal have only surrendered 3 goals in 6 outings. Oregon State accounted for 2 of those 3. Stanford shut out Pacific, San Francisco, San Diego State, and UCLA. Thomas has been near perfect in net. Washington on the other side, only 4 goals allowed in 4 conference matches. They've posted shutouts in 5 of their 7 games this season, including 2-0 wins against Cal and UCLA in conference play. This one's loose, spilling into the corner. And booted out of play by the Cardinal. Washington's goals allowed average mark of .57 is 11th best in the country. Only a couple of other teams can claim to be in the top 15 in the nation in scoring and goals allowed average. Stanford, Marshall, and High Point. You truly have 2 of the best on display here today, and Stanford has got their second corner now.
Stanford corner kick taken by number 7, Will Richmond.
It's Will Richmond who had the best shot we've seen from either side in this contest. A laser from just outside the 18. And he sent right at Fowler. Crossing this one in. Headed by Miglietti. Turned back toward net. Can Meek clear it? Taps it. Miglietti chasing down Cam Silly. And finally a whistle to stop play. Here's a rainbow that's going to drop right in front of the Stanford bench off the foot of Thomas. A throw in for the Huskies. The chippiness and physicality of this game maybe turning down a notch after the early yellow cards. 1 to each side for Kai Briscoe and Andrew Abrahamian. And Charlie Ostrom will get everything he can into this throw-in. He's backed all the way up against the fence, right next to the Stanford bench. And he'll run into this long throw. Here it comes. Into the box, headed away. Ostrom back on it. And he gets into a little scrum with Jack O'Brien, and eventually Ostrom is whistled for a foul. O'Brien, a senior from Broomfield, Colorado. 1 goal, 1 assist this season. Thomas getting ready to trigger play again. And he's going to take his time with it. Stanford has won more often than not in recent history between these two. The Cardinal have taken a 5-2-1 record in the last 8 meetings. Last year, each team won their road contest. And even though Stanford's got a better record in the last 8 meetings, just about every contest has been close. 4 of the last 7 meetings between these two have gone to extra time, and since 2014, only 1 meeting was decided by more than a goal. And if that's any indication, we'll go down to the wire again today. Washington's last win here at Husky Soccer Stadium was in 2015. It's been a while since they've beaten the Cardinal on their home turf. That one headed away by Jones. Very physical player, 6'2", really able to get up there and beat the opposition for the header. Jones gets his foot to this one as well and rolls it out of play. Stanford has really been busy on this near boundary. One of their corners was from the far side, but they've been working this near side boundary deep into the corner a whole lot. And it looks like they'll toss this throw in into the box if they can. Here it comes. And cleared right back out of play by Meek. This one's up for grabs, and Fowler gets up for it. He had to go into a forest to catch that ball. There were a lot of trees that he had to navigate his way through. Always an advantage for the goalkeeper, being able to go up and get it with his hands, but if you stumble within that traffic, it's not so easy. Here's Miglietti. Deep in the corner, rolls it back for Meek. Meek looking for a window, but a whistle first. And Washington really upset to have that opportunity ripped away from them. But understandably, the referee wanted to check on an injured Cardinal player. It's Will Richmond along the far sideline. You can see the stands littered with black, purple, and red as a select number of fans getting to take in today's contest. Unlike last weekend, they don't have to break out the umbrellas. The women's team played through a downpour last weekend, and last night a drizzle as the women's soccer squad was able to just barely eke out a 2-1 win against Washington State with a goal in the final minute of the contest. Scored by Carly Sickle. Tevez waiting for it. And he'll toss it back in. Ostrom right back to Tevez. A little give and go. Tevez looking for the cross. Now working his way to the box. Gonna rip it. It's loose in front of net. Can the Cardinal clear it away? Ostrom floats it in front of net. Thomas goes up and gets it. And Thomas whips it out, trying to spark the counter. Washington plays it well, though. That's Kalani Kosa-Rienzi, who entered for the injured Kai Briscoe earlier. Kosa-Rienzi, a freshman from Berkeley, California. He became the first freshman since Ethan Bartlow to start the season opener for UW. He started against Northwest at the beginning of this year. And now he's tabbed to take over for Briscoe in a much bigger game against the second-ranked Cardinal. Kosa-Rienzi fires this one down the far sideline into the open field for Thomas. And a throw-in coming for UW. Because of all those injuries that have occurred in the various stoppages we've had in this first half, the clock that you're looking at may be a bit fast, as the officials have hit pause for a couple of players who have gone down throughout our first half. But still no score and only a couple of shots on goal. Actually, only one at this point from Will Richmond for Stanford. Washington had a couple goal scoring opportunities, but they weren't able to turn them into actual shots. And the referee signaling upfield saying, we'll bring this one back. Again, they're able to play on after that collision between Abrahamian and Ostrom. And Jones will head it out of play.
Stanford substitution number 10.
A sub on the way for the Cardinal. Charlie Weehan comes in. He replaces Jack O'Brien. Weehan, a senior forward from Laguna Niguel, California. He scored 2 goals this year with 5 assists. Gabe Siegel is right next to him on the roster, came in with 4. Weehan often comes off the bench. He's appeared in 5 of Stanford's 6 matches this year off the bench and leads the Cardinal with 5 assists. That mark ranks 6th nationally. And the Cardinal have a set piece here, essentially straight on, way outside the box. And here it comes. Fowler coming out, bouncing around. And Fowler is down as the official stops play. The Husky goalkeeper has been aggressive and did so there, coming out to play the free kick. And it looks like it was his left arm or shoulder that he was stretching out as he got back up. And he'll tee it up to restart play. The top spot in the Pac-12 on the line today. Washington 3-1, Stanford 4-0. Oregon State's also 3-1, so the Beavers could also move into a tie for the top spot in the Pac-12 if Washington were to win today. Abrahamian, who's been really playing this near sideline well, belts that one downfield before it's headed out of play by the Huskies. Weehan, the sub, was about to throw it in, but he'll hand off for Abrahamian. Back for Keegan Hughes. Stanford keeping the pressure on. Looking for that golden opportunity. Lucas Meek up to Soto. Soto seeking out Miglietti. And Keegan Hughes is there first. Hughes, a sophomore from Heath, Ohio. Playing that right center back spot next to Abrahamian. And Thomas was looking for Abrahamian there, but sent it too far. Ostrom to toss it in. Ostrom had a 3-game point streak going until it was snapped against UCLA last weekend. But he has doubled his career point total this season with a goal and 3 assists. A junior from Shoreline, Washington. Inside, it trickles through. Tevez got his noggin on it just barely, but couldn't redirect it toward net. So that's officially Washington's second shot. Not a shot on goal, which they still have a goose egg in that column on the stat chart. Only 3 corners thus far, 2 for Stanford, 1 for UW. Meek's gonna pummel this one right back at Thomas. This time he'll sling it out to the far side. Fisher backpedaling and now playing it for Hughes. Hughes finds an avenue. And that through ball turned away by Ostrom. Meek trying to keep it in play. Right back down to Nate Jones. And Fowler will clobber it into the midfield. Off the ricochet, Miglietti trying to play it with the Cardinal player down. The Washington bench not happy with that last whistle, claiming that Cardinal players are just out of control there, and Miglietti simply bigger going up for that ball. So, of course, a Cardinal player is going to hit the deck. It's Ryan Ludwig, who's getting some help off the pitch here. Shaken up after the collision with Miglietti. Ludwig, a junior from York, Pennsylvania. So he takes a seat. None of the injuries we've seen in this first half have seemed serious, but a bunch have led to brief spells on the bench for both sides. We haven't seen Kai Briscoe return for Washington after he was injured earlier. Soto looking for Tevez. It's turned away. Great work by Tiggy on the far side. Sliding to boot that one back toward the midfield. Otherwise, Tevez was going to have a run at that one all the way into the box. Abrahamian scanning from the near sideline, and he shovels it off for Weehan to throw it in. Jones lofts this one back to the middle of the pitch. Meek on it. Too much velocity on that pass for Soto. Coming back toward the Stanford end. Soto curling around, able to flick it back for Ostrom, and then he collides with Weehan, and Weehan's going to get called for the foul here. And eventually Weehan hangs around to give Soto a hand up. Ostrom and Tevez going to talk through this before a set piece just in front of the Stanford bench. Ostrom with the left foot, bouncing in. Back for Soto, lines it up, it's turned away. And then it's misplayed. Ryan Crowley couldn't connect cleanly on that attempt, but a great tackle, 2 of them by Ostrom. Ostrom gets right back up and pries the ball away. 2 tremendous defensive plays. Here's Ostrom on the run now. Inside the box, double team. Tried to turn it toward the goal line, and it turns into a goal kick for Stanford.
Washington substitution number 7.
Still a fantastic series for Charlie Ostrom. First, the 2 marvelous defensive plays, and then he sparks a run that gave Washington at least an offensive chance there. So Miglietti is exiting for Washington here. And Imanol Rosales comes in. Rosales, a sophomore from Mexico. He's got a goal and 4 assists this season. And throw in for Stanford coming. Rosales recorded 2 multi-point games in the first 3 contests of this spring. And he ranks 4th in the Pac-12 with those 4 assists. Needs just 1 more point to match his freshman season total of 7. So we're ticking towards halftime here. As mentioned earlier, we've had a series of injuries in this first half, so the clock that you see reading around 46 minutes is a bit fast due to the stoppages that we've had throughout half number 1. Here come the Huskies. Stanford finally clears it. Headed by Siegel. Now O'Brien, or rather Weehan, getting out to the far side before it's pried away by Cosa Rienzi. Carlo Agostinelli getting ready to enter for the Cardinal now. Soto with a nifty move, deking out his defender. Here comes Rosales, turning to his right, off to Tevez. Lines it up with the right, save made. Falling to his right, Andrew Thomas, able to knock that one down and squeeze it. The first shot on goal of the game for Washington. UW now leading 4-1 in the shots department. But only 1 on goal for each side. And now Agostinelli will come in. The redshirt freshman from London, England. Has a couple of assists this season. And he replaces Will Richmond, who has that sole shot on goal for Stanford. Abrahamian lofts it downfield. Jones with the header. Siegel passes into the corner. A cross coming in. Deflected away. The Cardinal get back to it. And roll it back for Ludwig. Long shot denied. Burks gets his foot in the way. Abrahamian off to Weehan. A defensive battle here. The matchup of two of the top 6 teams in the nation. Stanford ranked number 2, Washington number 6 in the latest poll. Cross coming in, far post, headed back toward net by Weehan, and Fowler's there. Nearing the end of the first half. Thomas with a long boot up the far sideline. Agostinelli crosses it in front of net. It pinballs around. Fowler gets up to secure it. A very dangerous spot. Both Siegel and Weehan were there for the Cardinal, and it ricocheted off a couple of different players before Fowler was able to haul it in off the pop-up. Here's Lucas Meek. Pokes it through traffic. He got tripped up by Abrahamian, but they won't stop play. Burks heads it back toward Cosa Rienzi. Burks on it again. Cosa Rienzi upfield into no man's land. Well, we know these teams play a lot of close games. 4 of their last 7 have gone to overtime, and it looks like Stanford and UW will have another tightly contested one today. Cosa Rienzi with a nice defensive play to take it away from Agostinelli. Stanford gets it right back, and Fowler comes sliding out to gobble this one up before Agostinelli can get there. The Cardinal just a game in front of the Dogs in the Pac-12 conference standings. And Oregon State tied up with Washington. All 3 of those teams ranked in the top 6 in the country. And looks like there'll be a 3-headed race for the Pac-12 title this year. Stanford looking for a goal before halftime. Down goes Siegel, no whistle, we play on. Back for Ludwig. 1 minute to go in this first half. Agostinelli in the corner. Into the box, crosses it. Nice stop by Burks. And the Dogs clear it. Still just 1 shot on goal apiece. Fisher now from the corner towards the far post. Weehan gets up for it. It's loose for Meek. Meek can't beat his defender.
9, 8, 7,
Time winding down.
5, 4,
And it looks like that will be it for half number 1.
0. And that concludes the first half of the match. The score is tied at 0.
1 half in the books, and it's been a defensive struggle. A total of just 6 shots in the first half. 4 for Washington, 2 for Stanford. They each put 1 on goal, but neither of them can find the back of the net. And this matchup of number 2 versus number 6, we go to halftime scoreless. We'll step aside for a moment on Pac-12 Plus and GoHuskies.com. When we come back, half number 2 between the Huskies and the Cardinal.
Washington has taken enhanced health and safety measures to curb the spread of COVID-19. Please follow all posted instructions while visiting Huskies.
A defensive stalemate after 45 minutes in Seattle today. The number 2 ranked Stanford Cardinal and 6th ranked Washington Huskies with no goals after one half of play at Husky Soccer Stadium. Thanks for joining us on Pac-12 Plus and GoHuskies.com. I'm Jason Doro. That first half featured just 2 shots on goal, 1 for each side. Will Richmond got one off for Stanford, a rocket from the corner of the box just outside the 18 and went right into the gut of Sam Fowler. Washington got one from Tevez, Dylan Tevez, but it was a slow roller and easily played by Andrew Thomas in net for Stanford. 6 total shots in half number 1, 4 for the Huskies, 2 for the Cardinal, 2 corners for Stanford in the first half, just 1 for Washington, as these 2 teams battle for the top spot in the Pac-12. Stanford came in a perfect 4-0 in conference and a clean 6-0 on the season. Washington 6-1, 4-1 in Pac-12 play. So a win today would move the Huskies into a tie for first place with the Cardinal, and potentially Oregon State could join them. The Beavers entered this weekend at 3-1, just like the Dogs. So second half underway as Miglietti lets this one roll through, but there was a whistle first. And a free kick coming for Stanford. These are the top 2 scoring teams in the country. Stanford averaging 3.3 goals per game. And they're scoring almost 3 per contest in conference action. So even with the competition level ratcheting up with Pac-12 play, this offense has kept their gear in drive, and they continue to put pressure on. Let's see if Washington can stave off. Stanford provides offensively in the second half, and Washington not behind Stanford by much, scoring exactly 3 goals per game this season, a mark that ranks second in the country behind only the Cardinal. So far, it's been the defenses that have dominated. A throw in for the Cardinal, just in front of their own bench. Richmond hands it off, and Tingy throws it right back into him. And he's pushed off the ball. A nice play by Kalani Kosa Rienzi. Richmond on a run. He has the 1 shot on goal. Crosses in front. Booted back and out of play. Zach Ryan was the Cardinal to touch it there, but he did not have a seam to shoot in the slightest. Ryan leads the team in points and in goals, 6 goals this season. And now a corner for the Cardinal, as Siegel wipes it off the foot of Kosa Rienzi.
Stanford corner kick.
Ryan did miss about 4 of the first 5 minutes of this match because he was injured in the early going. Sorry for the brief technical difficulties on the clock. That should be adjusted to the right spot now, as the Cardinal try to reignite their offense with Richmond. Defended by Kosa Rienzi, who gets the throw in. Lucas Meek beside himself as the referee is giving it to the Cardinal, and now the side judge is going to overturn the call and say it's Washington's throw in. Here's Kosa Rienzi firing it up the near side. Headed down by Richmond. Now back to midfield. A rainbow that's headed by Burks. Kosa Rienzi lines it up. Miglietti right back to Meek. Soto turns it up the near sideline. Miglietti giving chase. And the referee is going to bring this one back, where Cosa Rienzi is waiting. Kalani Cosa Rienzi, a freshman from Berkeley, California, playing in the midfield for the Dogs. No goals, 2 assists for him this season. The first freshman to start in his very first game, the season opener, since Ethan Bartlow. Richmond gets it right back on a give and go. Tevez. Gonna stop and feed it back to the defensive line. Miglietti on it for Washington, has it torn away. The Stanford bench barking for a call. They won't get it. Thomas fires it far side. And Tyler Smith is able to hop on it. The senior from Spokane. Here's Meek slamming on the brakes. Thomas steps up and rolls it away. Washington has not got many touches in the box today, but there was one for Meek, and he was defended well before Thomas was able to step up and deposit that one in the sideline. Stanford's got to throw in deep in the corner. This Cardinal team has been amazing on the road. Even when they're away from home, they're one of the most vaunted teams in the country. Unbeaten in their last 15 road games. And a win today would move them to 5-0 in conference play for the first time since 2016. Popped up inside the box. Jones feeds back for Crowley. Down into the corner for Burks. Burks changes directions. Curls it back post. Headed around by the Cardinal. Crowley comes back to it. Trying to get it over to Smith. And the Huskies leave it out of play. Here's Zach Ryan. Siegel gets tripped up. A clean tackle made by the Husky defense. And Siegel, a bit gimpy as he walks back upfield. Went down hard. Meek into the box, has it poked away. Perfectly executed defense by Keegan Tingey. This one gets through, but Fowler is way up. And if Fowler was not there, Stanford was going to have a golden chance with Will Richmond on a run. He was definitely going to get behind Kendall Burks, but again, Sam Fowler positioned well and lingering, waiting for that ball. Fowler leading the Pac-12 and ranking 8th in the country entering this game in goals allowed average at .38. His career goals allowed average of .55 is the best in Division I among active keepers. Ostrom taps it down and then flicks it right off of Ryan and out of play. Rienzi dumps this one downfield looking for Miglietti. But offside is called and a free kick coming for Stanford. We go back to last season. The Cardinal went 14-3-5 in 2019. Finished second in the conference at 6-2-2 behind only Washington. The Huskies 17-4 overall in 2019. Got their second conference championship under head coach Jamie Clark, who's claimed titles in 2013 and 2019 in the Pac-12. Every single season in between has belonged to Stanford. They won 5 consecutive Pac-12 championships from 2014 to 2018. Last year, Washington also made their 4th straight NCAA tourney appearance. And they made a little run, winning a couple of games, but that run would be cut short in the Elite Eight by Georgetown, the eventual national champions. As the Hoyas won 2-1. This one's lofted, played by Burks, and he's going to send a rainbow down the pitch. And what's funny is not only was Washington's season ended by Georgetown, the Hoyas also eliminated Stanford. The Cardinal got to the Final Four before they'd lose in the semis against that Georgetown squad. They both suffered the same fate in 2019. Stanford needed some very close wins to make that tournament run. They beat Seattle U and Virginia Tech at home before traveling across the country to play against Clemson in South Carolina. And they won on penalty kicks to get to the national semifinals. Charlie Weehan comes in. He taps out Jack O'Brien. Here in the 58th minute. Richmond with control. A low cross. Zips in, poked away by Soto. Tevez tries to start the counter for Washington. Doesn't have much aid from the rest of the Huskies here. They're gradually making their way upfield. Rolls it off for Soto. Tried to find Smith, but it was behind him. And the Cardinal get rid of it. That tournament run for Washington last season, by the way, was their deepest in the last 4 years. And their longest run since they also made the Elite Eight in the 2013 season. 2 years where they've won the Pac-12 championship. They also made those deep tournament runs. Soto gets tripped up. Washington will have a free kick here. I'm sure both these teams are counting on a legitimate shot at the national championship once we get to the postseason. First goal is getting that Pac-12 crown. At least in recent history, it's only been these two. Either the Huskies or Cardinal have won the last 7 Pac-12 championships. The cross coming in right to Thomas. Ostrom puts it over the head of his teammates, and it's an easy save for Thomas in net. Still only 3 shots on goal. 2 for Stanford, 1 for Washington. Here's Tingey racing up the near sideline. Taps it to his right. No pressure on him. The feed for Richmond now. He tries to turn on the Jets and gets tripped up by Ostrom just as he looked to accelerate. So now a set piece for the Cardinal. And it looks like Tingey will be the one to take it. Sophomore from Danville, California. He's got 3 assists this season. Can Stanford break through here? Headed away. Tremendous work again by that defensive line for Washington. Coming back from Tingey, and this one goes right to Fowler. The Cardinals staying persistent offensively, but still can't muster a goal. Fowler sends a laser through the middle of the pitch. Jones gets up for that one. And Meek bowls over a Cardinal player, but they play on. Washington with a chance to go against the run of play here. Tevez in space. And a great tackle made by Tingey. He's made some stellar plays in this second half. Burks turning this one toward the sideline and turns it out of play. Two amazing programs going toe-to-toe. Washington in program history can claim 3 Pac-12 titles, 26 NCAA tournament appearances. Stanford has taken it to another level under head coach Jeremy Gunn with their 3 consecutive national titles from 2015 to 2017, but today they've been really even. Still only a pair of shots on goal for both sides. Stanford looking to take the lead here. A chance and a whiff from Weehan. He had to line that one up quickly. Tried to gather and then swing his right leg into it, but couldn't connect. Ball into the box, and there's Fowler to corral it on one bounce. Weehan falls to the turf. Getting back to it. Tevez on it for the Huskies. Tingey retrieves it. Tried to dump it off, but there's Crowley. Upfield for Miglietti. No one there to help him out. This match continues to intensify. It was really chippy in the first 10 minutes. 2 yellow cards really early on. It's been a cleaner game since then. I think the officials made a point of ensuring that this game wouldn't get out of hand with those early yellow cards. Jamie Clark makes a change here. He takes out Lucas Meek. In comes Imanol Rosales. One spins out to midfield. Played there by Hughes out to the far side. Throw in for Stanford. Cross coming in off the ricochet. Kosa Rienzi with that last clear, but Tingey gets it back. Tingey accelerating, dumps it off. Shot on goal, but Fowler's there. A quick turn by Gabe Siegel, and he got plenty behind that shot, even though he was flat-footed when he got ready to rifle it on net. Fowler again in perfect positioning. Here's Tevez. He's cut down. And Washington will have a great spot for this set piece. Ostrom there with Rosales. Ostrom takes it toward the far post, and Thomas cuts over to grab it. Ostrom tried to fire it right in, curling inside the far post, but that time Thomas showing off the agility to make the save. So the offense picking up in this second half. We saw just 1 shot on goal per side in the first half. Stanford's got 5 on goal now. Washington's got 3. Total shots margin sits at 7-6 in favor of the Cardinal.
Stanford corner kick.
And this will be the 4th corner for Stanford. Washington's only got 1 today. Here it comes. Bouncing ball. Played back out to the corner. Now floated in. Miglietti getting back to help, and it's headed up and over the crossbar. But there was a whistle first. Subs on the way.
In for 12, Tyler Smith, and number 23.
Tyler Smith coming on for Washington. Looks like Miglietti's coming out.
Substitution number 20, Carlo Agostinelli. In for 7, Will Richmond.
Carlo Agostinelli comes out for Stanford. He's replaced by Will Richmond. Tyler Smith has exited for Washington too. looks like he's been replaced by Gabe Threadgold, a redshirt freshman from Bremerton, Washington. So both teams shaking things up here as we near the 70th minute in a scoreless contest. Last night here at Husky Soccer Stadium, we got late fireworks as the women's team scored in the 90th minute to defeat Washington State in that Apple Cup collision. Could we get some late fireworks again today? Fisher in the corner. And Ostrom able to get it on the right side of that flag, so it's just a throw in for the Cardinal, not a corner. And Abrahamian trying to get all the moisture off the ball before he throws it in here. A long throw in, and it's wide of net.
You gotta organize your outside shoulder. If there's stuff outside, you gotta get people in there. Hey, since Ema was in that spot, Gabe, you gotta just get back around the penalty spot.
Fowler restarts play. Off the head of Threadgold. Bunch of players hit the deck, and Fowler picks it back up. Crowley was down there for Washington. I think Threadgold was on the pitch for a moment too. Washington seeking a 5th consecutive victory. They started this winning stretch with a 2-0 win at Cal before winning 3-2 against San Diego State in overtime as that ball's blasted out of play. And they've kept this momentum in March, winning 4-0 at home against Seattle U on the 10th, and then 2-0 at UCLA on the 14th. Stanford, the squad that can finally bring the run to an end. Of course, the Cardinal undefeated in their own right. 6-0 this season. They've won 15 consecutive road games, or rather they're unbeaten in 15 consecutive road games. Doesn't seem to matter where the Cardinal get tested. They're going to bring their best. Tevez able to tap it down and control it at the edge of the 18. Coming up is Kosa Rienzi, but he gets in a little fight and loses possession for a moment. Looks like Washington has it back in the near corner again. It's the one corner we can't really see from our vantage point. Our broadcast spot up in the concourse of Husky Ballpark, where the baseball team is already warming up as they play against USC later today. Thomas coming out to play this one, and it's booted away. Another throw-in coming for Washington. Lucas Meek is re-entering. And Jack O'Brien is returning for Stanford.
Stanford substitutes number 19, Jack
Gabe
O'Brien.
Siegel
Number 9,
exits
James
for
Duvall.
O'Brien to come in.
And Washington substitution number 33, Lucas Meek, in for number 9, Dylan Tevis.
And Meek came in for Tevis. Looks like Nate Jones is hurt. Slowly walking off the pitch. In this scoreless conference match. Stanford looking to place a stranglehold on first place in the Pac-12. Undefeated at 4-0. And already holding one win against Oregon State, who is tied up with Washington for second place in the conference. The Huskies' only loss in conference play this year was against the Beavers, February 20th, 2-1, here at Husky Soccer Stadium. OSU currently number 4 in the national rankings. These two squads, number 2 and number 6. Tingy gets to this one and sprays it out of play. Well, the sun has come out in Seattle. It was cloudy throughout the first half. And I think these sides were just happy to not have any precipitation on what's a cool spring day in the Pacific Northwest, around 50 degrees. But not much wind. It's proved to be an excellent day for soccer, and hopefully it will be for baseball in a couple hours. Burke steps in front of this one, controls it, gives off for Cosa Rienzi. Thomas gonna sling it out far side. O'Brien trying to turn it upfield, and then he draws a whistle and a free kick for the Cardinal. Zach Ryan trying to spin past Miglietti. Back out to midfield. And that will be a foul against Stanford. A call that's clear as day. In the circle at midfield, and Washington has a free kick. Still just 3 shots on goal for the Huskies, 5 for Stanford. Miglietti lines this one up. And now headed out of bounds by Agostinelli. Cole Grimsby trying to get to it for Washington, a redshirt senior from Woodinville. Fowler is going to pop this one up far side. Taken down by Ostrom, and now Soto's got it. Up the far sideline goes Rosales. And they give it right back to Stanford. given that these are the top 2 scoring teams in the country, you think their offenses would break through at some point, but their defenses are almost as good. The Cardinal have only surrendered 3 goals in 6 games this year. Oregon State accounted for 2 of those 3, as the Cardinal beat them 3-2 last weekend. Stanford posted shutouts against Pacific, San Francisco, San Diego State, and UCLA. And Washington has done the same with clean sheets in 5 of their 7 matches this season. Oregon State and San Diego State are the only teams to score against the Huskies this year. Thomas running this one back out. And he'll survey the field before restarting play. The goals allowed average for Washington of .57 ranks 11th in the country. Stanford leads the nation in goal differential at +17. They're outscoring their opposition 20-3 this year. A couple of unstoppable forces have met immovable objects today. Still a defensive stalemate as we roll into the 80th minute. Miglietti is back to play this one and gives it over to Fowler. Two subs coming for Jeremy Gunn's Cardinal. Will Richmond back in? Gabe Siegel returns. Agostinelli comes off. And Charlie Weehan will join him on the bench. This is Washington's last game at home for a little while. On the road at Oregon State on March 24th will be their next contest, and then they'll go to San Diego State on March 28th, next Sunday. And they'll have home contests against Cal and UCLA on April 3rd and April 8th before these two teams meet again to conclude the regular season. They'll play in Palo Alto on April 17th. Lucas Meek is on this one. Darting to his left, gives off for Ostrom. Ostrom trying to fend off a Cardinal defender. He can't do it. Out to Zach Ryan. Ryan rolls it for Richmond. Richmond able to scan the field. Ostrom charging back on defense. He gets pushed off the ball, and that's a whistle against Stanford, and Ostrom goes down hard. He was sprinting to the near corner, and Richmond couldn't sense him coming from behind. Just a few words exchanged between the referee and Richmond there, as Fowler brings it back up and tees it up to restart play.
Washington substitution number 9, Dylan Tevez, in for 7, Emmanuel Rosales.
And now Tevez comes back in for Washington. He got a quick breather. He wasn't out for long. Returns to the pitch for the final stretch. And that clock you see is probably a little bit fast. We've had an injury or two in this second half. And the clock sitting at 84 plus is probably a couple of minutes ahead of where we really are, as that ball ricochets in front, eventually turned away by the Cardinal again. They've been able to keep everything out thus far. Burks. Now Ostrom gets it past Ryan. Ostrom. He's been the Energizer Bunny today, non-stop. Ostrom's been playing both ends. And he goes down again. A free kick coming for Washington. Tevez is going to run away, and it's Ostrom's ball to play. He swings it in. Thomas coming out, and he punches it away. And now a goal kick. After Grimsby punched that one over the net. Charlie Weehan back in for Stanford. Jack O'Brien comes off. Ninth-year head coach Jeremy Gunn mixing and matching. With just a handful of minutes left to go. Fowler steps into this one. A bullet downfield. Thomas coming out on the other end, and he gets there. Headed into the corner by Richmond. Cosa Rienzi's there. Right back to midfield off the foot of Fowler. Meek up to Tevez, trying to chip it past a defender. Over for Grimsby. A cross coming in. Tevez rolls it and scores! Dylan Tevez in the 85th minute. And Washington takes a 1-0 lead over the second-ranked Cardinal. Tevez got a significant breather late in the second half. He came back in just a few minutes ago, and he scores his 5th goal of the season in the 85th minute. Off a pass from Charlie Ostrom. And with Washington going ahead 1-0, Tevez is in line for his 4th game winner of the season. "13 points this year now for Dylan Tevez, leading the way for Washington. The junior from Hawaii with 5 goals, 3 assists.
Charlie Ostrom.
Ostrom now with 4 assists on the year after feeding Tevez on the goal. Here's Richmond on a full-out sprint. Grimsby got his foot on the cross. Right back to Richmond in the corner. Lofts it. Fowler coming way out of net, and he elevates to catch it. And the referee is quick to stop play here. We'll reset the clock here to try to match it up with where the clock sits actually. The goal for Tevez came at 84:39. And we're sitting right around 85:29 now, according to the live stat sheet that we have here in the broadcast booth. And Kalani Kosarienzi needed some help here from the Washington training staff. So he exits. Glad to see he was able to get up because really stretching it out in the near corner. Now he comes off the pitch. We got 4.5 to play. Fowler's going to restart us.
Washington substitution number 12, Tyler Smith, in for number 6.
And Smith is the one to replace Kosarienzi. All of a sudden, a lot of pep in the step of Stanford.
Cole, everything goes over your head. Hey, everything's going big. You have to drop.
Tingy to throw it in. He sends it back for Ludwig. Ludwig gonna lob it up. Fowler coming out of net. He lost the handle for a moment and then he falls on it. Fowler bobbled it after leaping into the air to catch it. Eventually got it back. Under 4 to play. Remember, 4 of the last 7 meetings between these two have gone to overtime, and since 2014, only 1 meeting was decided by more than a goal. When Stanford and Washington get together, it's always tight. 2 of the best programs, not only on the West Coast, but in the entire country. The Huskies currently ranked 6th, Stanford 2nd. And thanks to an 85th minute goal from Dylan Tevez, Washington holds a 1-0 advantage. Tevez was already the 5th player in the Pac-12 to reach double-digit points this season. He's hit that mark in every season with UW. And he puts them ahead in the 85th minute. Now under 3 to play. Stanford has a free kick coming. Trying to knot this game up. Otherwise, they will suffer their first loss of the season. Nice defensive play by Crowley, who gets it over to Grimsby. Crowley steps up, lobs it into the corner. Meek running after it. As we hit 2 minutes to play. If this scoreline holds, we'll have a tie atop the Pac-12 with Stanford and Washington both at 4-1. Oregon State potentially 4-1 as well. They entered the weekend 3-1. Siegel taken down by Burks. No call. Into the box. Rolled in front, Fowler knocks it down, and then he swallows it up. Sam Fowler there again. That should be his 5th save of the afternoon.
One minute remaining in the second half. 1 minute remaining.
1 minute to go. It's been tightly contested throughout. The margin in shots and shots on goal, just 1. Here's Richmond, pokes it for Ryan. Ryan downfield, Miglietti heads it over to Fowler. And Fowler sweeps it between his legs. As we close in on 20 seconds to play. Fowler boots it downfield. Meek heads it towards midfield. Here's Tevez, the hero of the afternoon. Dylan Tevez, after scoring in the 85th minute, runs this one out, and Washington moves into a tie for first place in the Pac-12 by beating Stanford 1-0. The Huskies get a 1-0 win against the Cardinal, and they move to 4-1 in Pac-12 play. Both these teams with the same conference mark now. As for the 8th consecutive season, they'll be fighting for a Pac-12 championship. So again, the scoring recap from today: Tevez scores in the 85th off a pass from Charlie Ostrom, the only goal today. And Washington takes a narrow one to move to 7-1 on the season. That'll do it for us from Husky Soccer Stadium. Make sure to flip over to other Husky athletics this weekend, including the baseball game at 5 o'clock tonight. Saying so long from Seattle, I'm Jason Doro. Washington wins it 1-0 here against the Cardinal.